Session 84, Surah Fatiha, the Qur'an summarized. Assalamu alaikum, brothers and sisters. We begin with the name of Allah who is most gracious and merciful. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. And we begin with blessings on Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him. Nahmaduhu nusalli ala Rasulihil Kareem. We continue with verses 6 and 7 of Surah Fatiha, that is, the path of those whom you have rewarded, not the ones who earned your annoyance, nor those who went astray. We were on Surah Yasin, and today we begin with the verse 20 of Surah Yasin. وَجَاءَ مِنْ أَقْصَى الْمَدِينَةِ رَجُلٌ يَسْعَىٰ قَالَ يَا قَوْمِ اتَّبِعُوا الْمُرْسَلِينَ. Translation: Meanwhile, a man who came to know about the ruthlessness of these cursed people, intending to kill the apostles, came running from a far-flung corner of the city, and in an effort to convince his people said, "Follow the path of the apostles." Explanation: The man named Habib was one of the 4 truthful people, Siddiqs, indicated by Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him. The others being: 1, the young man who accepted to be crucified instead of Prophet Jesus, son of Maryam, Tafsir Ibn Kasir. The third, who took a shortcut to inform Prophet Moses that the Pharaoh had ordered his arrest, death, and the fourth, Abu Bakr Siddiq Raziyallahu Ta'ala Anhu. A night prior, that is, on the Great Supper, when it was known that the bloody-minded Judas had decided on the crucifixion, Prophet Jesus, Isa, asked of a dozen of his close disciples if any of them would volunteer that his face be so transformed that he is crucified in the morning as Jesus. A rather young man volunteered. Prophet Jesus Isa repeated his question. Only the same young man volunteered again. Not satisfied, Prophet Jesus inquired the third time, and again it was the same young man. And so it was in the morning. When the body was inspected closely after the crucifixion, it transpired that it was too young for the face. People were perplexed and inquired, if this was Prophet Jesus Isa, where did the young man go? And if this was the young man crucified, where had Prophet Jesus gone? No one knew. No one knew. The Israelites shamefacedly declared him to be Prophet Jesus. Tafsir Ibn Kasir. Habib pleaded with his people to listen to these apostles. They have no selfish, no personal motives, no desire for self-aggrandizement. Verse 20. Attabi'u ma la yas'alukum ajrun wa hum muhtadun. This man, Habib, said, "Follow the path of such people who do not ask for any returns. They are absolutely honest and selfless, sincere, devoted, and above all, they are on the righteous path, righteous faith." Verse 22, وَمَا لِيَلَا عَبْدُ الَّذِي فَطَرَنِي وَإِلَيْهِ تُرْجَعُونَ. And this man scorned at them, saying, I have no reason that I shouldn't worship the one who has created me, and to him you will all return. And to him you will all return. Verse 23. أَتَّخِذُ مِن دُونِهِ آلِهَةً إِن يُرِدْنِ الرَّحْمَنُ بِضُرٍّ لَا تُغْنِ عَنِّي شَفَاعَتُهُمْ شَيْئًا وَلَا يُنْقِذُونَ. Verse 23. Translation. How disgraceful it would be to forego my Rabb. Should I leave him and worship others, demigods who are so impotent that if the Rabb wants to punish me, their recommendation proves useless, and neither do they have any power to get me off the hook. Explanation. Generally, the situation of recommendation arises when someone is not in a position to perform the task himself. Those among the mankind who have adopted associates, shareholders with one and the only Allah, do not take these gods to have created the world or that these would preside over the day of accountability. Rather, they nurture a grotesque belief that these are the powers, intermediary authorities, wasilas, medieval gods who would get all their sins forgiven from Allah, irrespective of their deeds, and take them to heaven. These demigods included, to start with, fire, then sun, Prophet Jesus, Prophet Uzair, angels, idols, lingam. All these have hardly been taken as the master of the universes or the doomsday. Unfortunately, none of these beliefs are supported by any evidence at all. To the contrary, the Qur'an remarks satirically, 19 Surah Maryam, verse 87. People don't have the power or capacity to recommend anyone except him who has taken a prior promise commitment from Rahman, the exceedingly kind. Obviously, there can be none. Here too, as in many other verses, Allah forewarns man against creating associates and such fiercely false beliefs of getting salvation through their recommendations. Now, there are people among the believers too who have created intermediary medieval gods, wasilas, at various shrines, not only for their salvation, even for the fulfillment of their day-to-day requirements, concerns, desires, ambitions, and prayers, supplications. Allah, the Almighty, also forewarns against such perverse beliefs, religious disorientation. In 12 Surah Yusuf, verse 106 states, وَمَا يُؤْمِنُ أَكْثَرُهُمْ بِاللَّهِ إِلَّا وَهُمْ مُشْرِكُونَ. And most of them who believe in Allah also at the same time attribute associates with Him, also commit shirk. And most of them who believe in Allah also at the same time attribute associates with Him, also commit shirk. Continuing with Surah Yasin, verse 24, Inni zalla fi zulalin mubin. If I do so, that is, I leave the all omnipotent Allah and begin worship, embodiments of impotence, helplessness, uselessness, and total incapacity, that is, your demigods, I would indeed fall into blunder, blatant, manifest error. Yasin, verse 25. Inni amantu bi rabbikum fasma'un. You may do whatever you like. You may do whatever you like. I have achieved satisfaction in entirely I have achieved satisfaction in entirety in my Allah, who is your Allah too. So let it be known, surely I believe in your Rabb, the exceedingly kind. Listen to me. I believe in your Rabb, the exceedingly kind. Listen to me. Verse 26. Qila dkhulil jannah qala ya layta qawmi ya'lamun. Those obdurate, obstinate scoundrels killed him there and then. Allah also taking him into heaven there and then. Allah also taking him into heaven there and then ordered, entered the heaven forthwith. Habib was so infused with the love of his people that he requested Allah, somehow my people should know that I have been sent to heaven. Somehow my people should know that I have been sent to the heaven. Verse 27. Bima ghafara li rabbi wa jalani min al-makramin. Translation. Somehow my people could know that my Rabb has patronized and graced me and has included me among the respected, honored ones, because of my belief in his monotheism and bearing the consequent torture of the disbelievers with patience and perseverance. Explanation. Allah likes and obviously deserves and has undisputed right to have the best of the people of the mankind for himself. I repeat, Allah likes and obviously deserves and has undisputed right to have the best of the people of the mankind for himself. He doesn't like, he doesn't accept, he doesn't take number two things, number two people. He knows everybody's number. He knows everybody's number, but the mankind must also see what he knows. Belief in one and the only Allah and persecution go together, always concomitant. Belief in one and the only Allah and persecution go together, always concomitant. If a believer is not tested, doesn't undergo hardships in the way of Allah, he may well be a hypocrite whom Allah doesn't want to expose. He who breaks in a test falls from the pedestal which he had apparently but not actually achieved. The episode of Habib is an illustration of the standard desirable conduct of faithful believer, ordained for those who desire and endeavor to reach their God, their Rabb. This is the history as well as the future of the ardent followers This is the history as well as the future of the ardent followers of the prophets. Led by Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, led by Prophet Muhammad's example, almost all his companions faced grave persecution, hardships, tests, and tortures. Allah wants just the number ones, those who desire status, place, and a perch, a high place with their Rabb, must get ready to replay Habib's episode and reenact the sunnah of his beloved ones, the companions of the Prophet, peace be upon him. Those who desire status, place, and a perch, a high place with their Rabb, must get ready to replay Habib's episode and reenact the sunnah of his beloved ones, the companions of the Holy Prophet, peace be upon him. However, to succeed, they must prepare themselves, work on themselves patiently, and acquire the power potential to prevent onslaughts of the disbelievers, which can pulverize them outright and result in their failure to persevere. I repeat, however, to succeed, they must prepare themselves, work on themselves patiently, and acquire the power potential to prevent onslaughts of the disbelievers, which can pulverize them outright and result in their failure to persevere. Verse 28. وَمَا أَنزَلْنَا عَلَىٰ قَوْمِهِ مِن بَعْدِهِ مِن جُندٍ مِّنَ السَّمَاءِ وَمَا كُنَّا مُنزِلِينَ. And we didn't use any force of angels from the skies on his Habib's people after him to punish them for the abominable, disgraceful killing, nor was it necessary for us to do so. Verse 29. In kanat illa sahatan wahidatan faizahum khamidun. So there was simply a single sound blast, a few sound waves from an angel, then they all, as though extinguished, expired there and then, instantly. Till the time Allah's message was delivered directly by the prophets, but the people exceeded all acceptable, forgivable limits with no chances of retrieval. They were destroyed, annihilated, killed directly through the use of natural environment, winds, storms, blizzards, rains, etc. This was the manifest shape of flood, hailstorm, stone storm. This, I repeat, was in the manifest shape of flood, hailstorm, stone storm, that is, pelting of stones. Windstorm, and sound blasts, etc., on the people of Noah, Ad, Smooth, Hud, Faraho. The angelic force was used only for the assistance of the last prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, and his companions in the Battle of Badr, 1 after Hijrah, AD 622. I repeat, the angelic force was used only for the assistance of the last prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, and his companions in the Battle of Badr, 1 after Hijrah, AD 622. With this, we come to the close of the session today. Jazakallah. Please pray for me, ex-Brigadier Mustansar Billah.